While calm has been restored in Tembisa, pockets of protest action continue. The violent protests erupted following the failure of Ekurhuleni Mayor Tania Campbell to meet residents last week. She has since promised to return to address them on Friday. One eyewitness says residents are still traumatised after witnessing the shooting. It's alleged one of the protest victims, Linda Shabalala, was shot in the yard. Meanwhile, City of Ekurhuleni officials are assessing the extent of the damage after a municipal building and several cars were torched by angry residents. For more on this story, let's cross live now to our colleague Mbalenhle Mthethwa, who's been covering the story. Mbalenhle, what's happening today where you are, just in terms of the progression of the story?
Certainly, Desiree. So this morning we've seen the arrival of Ekurhuleni Mayor accompanied by MEC for Human Settlement and Cogta just to try and engage with some community members. Now this is happening behind closed doors. There's a closed meeting that's taking place where community members are trying to express their grievances and their unhappiness after following the protest action that we saw taking place in Tembisa that claimed the lives of 4 people and saw the torching of a municipal office, including several vehicles. Some of the vehicles did not just belong to the municipality, but also belonged to those who were working there, who've also voiced concerns as to whether the city will compensate them after their cars were torched during those protests.
And Buddy, just to take us back a few days ago, I know we keep saying that the protest started because the mayor wasn't coming forth, but there's also deep-rooted concerns in the community about the cost of living, isn't there?
Yes, certainly. You will remember just last week that Tembisa residents staged a march to the Ekurhuleni mayor's office and handed over a memorandum of demands. This was regarding issues of ever-rising municipal bill or ever-rising taxes and rates and taxes rather, and also the issue of load shedding extended periods, saying that they spend hours, longer hours in the dark in the event of when there is load shedding, saying that it happens 4 times in a day. Now, these are some of the concerns that have been raised, but among those is the issue of free basic services that have seemingly been discontinued. You heard the mayor just earlier this week talking about the fact that the city can no longer afford to use a blanket approach when it comes to certain relief measures. Now, these relief measures come in the form of 100 megawatts of free basic electricity and 6 kilowatts of water, which goes a long way to these in these communities with regards to reducing the cost that is then paid out to the municipality, or the cost of living, or the cost of buying electricity. Now, residents were unhappy after the city decided to reserve these free basic services for registered indigent members alone, and try to encourage residents to apply for indigent status in order to qualify for 50 units of 50 megawatts of basic electricity. And it's unclear how much in terms of liters they will then qualify for. But it seems as though there is a reduction from the 100 basic units that residents are accustomed to, and it's now been reduced to 50 units. And this is based on the conversation we had earlier this week with MMC for Finance, who did say that indigent residents would qualify for 50 units of 50 megawatts of basic electricity. Now, that is at the heart of the protest action here, where residents feel that the removal or the discontinuation, or maybe the discontinuation of a blanket approach, as the mayor has put it, has really increased the cost of living, and now forcing them to pay even more than what they are accustomed to. One resident complaining, saying that the bill has come up to as much as 3,000 rand or even 9,000 rand in a month, saying that this is unaffordable for him because this is literally most of his salary.
So Mbali, even as the MEC for Cogta comes through today, what promises is he giving to the residents of Tembisa?
Well, it remains to be seen what exactly will come out of those meetings that are taking place currently. We will be briefed following those meetings as to what the decisions were, but we do understand that community members will be raising issues around the cost of living. And, you would have seen, some of the residents who decided to continue protesting yesterday, just raising some of those issues, saying that they want the mayor to listen to them and they want to be heard. So those are the scenes that we saw yesterday, and today it's unclear if some of those residents have returned to those protesting rather in the backdrop of this meeting that is taking place right now.
Mbalenhle, hope to get an update from you just in terms of the outcomes of that meeting. Mbalenhle Mthethwa, they're bringing us the latest just in terms of the Tembisa protests.